is a young man who had every advantage in life. He's traveled, he's well educated, going to Penn, and then I think he was at Stanford for a year. When you feed kids a steady diet of foolishness, you can expect foolish adults. This is what you're seeing. And, if I were a member of his family, I would want to track back to when this radicalization began. Did it start at this very elite high school? Or did it happen when he got to Penn, when he went away to Stanford? Where did it go wrong?
More breaking news has come out today involving the UnitedHealthcare CEO shooting. So Luigi Mangione has been identified as a key person of interest in the fatal shooting of the UnitedHealthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. Mangione was apprehended in Altoona, Pennsylvania, while carrying a weapon similar to the one used in the crime. We have a photo of him. Authorities discovered a manifesto in his possession criticizing corporate healthcare practices. Witnesses reported Mangione at the scene in Manhattan shortly before the shooting, suggesting premeditation. His background includes being a valedictorian and a University of Pennsylvania graduate. And guys, this hits home right here in Maryland. He actually attended high school here at Gilman High School. It's a private school, one of the most prestigious private schools in Maryland. He went there, graduated. That's where he was valedictorian there. We have a clip of him. This is clip 20 at his high school graduation.
The class of 2016 is truly defined by its inventive, pioneering mentality that accompanies a strong commitment to Gilman tradition. Having great ideas, however, isn't enough to innovate. The class of 2016's inventiveness also stems from its incredible courage to explore the unknown and try new things. Just like we've done these past few years, we'll be exploring the unknown, whether that be attending colleges across the country, traveling the world during gap years, or fulfilling military service in foreign countries.
Wow. So that was him back in 2016. Again, graduated from a prestigious high school here, went to Ivy League University. Shirley, what happened?
Well, leave it to McDonald's to just ruin everything. I mean, it ruins your diet. It's like the equalizer of all classes. So just leave it to McDonald's. This is the American mainstay. That's number one. I don't know. Let me say, I do know why the media and maybe many people are making this big to do, because he went to UPenn in Gilman, that somehow intelligent people just don't commit crimes. Bull. That's bull. Intelligent people, educate wealthy people, Ivy League people, they commit crimes just as much, or at least on board with the lower echelons of society. So this doesn't surprise me. I'm not moved one bit by his UPenn degree or whatever pedigree. If he is guilty, as he is accused of or alleged to have been, I think he should get the death penalty, Ivy League and all.
Yeah. Now, Nicole, I don't think people are so much shocked that, somebody from, not so much where Shelley was talking about, from Ivy League, from, a very good private school. I think the idea here is we're seeing these, affluent school, Ivy League universities and other elite institutions adopt woke ideologies which radicalize these students and undermine traditional values. This is what's kind of the glaring alarm for me. Are you seeing that there? And what do you think about this?
Absolutely. I see the same thing. This is a young man who had every advantage in life. He's traveled, he's well educated, going to Penn, and then I think he was at Stanford for a year, where he was helping incoming freshmen, acclimate to college. Here's the thing. When you feed kids a steady diet of foolishness, you can expect foolish adults. This is what you're seeing. And it, you know, this young man seems to have had something happen, and they're not sure what it is. They've read some of the manifesto where he's talking about, you know, if no one else is going to do anything, I'm going to do something. So in his mind, he made himself a hero before anything happened. But, you know, people were saying early on, well, maybe his mom died of breast cancer because they wouldn't give her treatment, or someone close to him died because UnitedHealthcare wouldn't give her treatment. UnitedHealthcare starts off with no on almost everything. They are probably one of the hardest insurance companies to get anything approved by. Now, they're tight with the dollar, make no mistake. They've made some bad decisions, make no mistake. But that man was a father. You know what I mean? He was a husband, although from what they're saying that he and his wife had been separated for some years. He did not deserve to be gunned down on the street. So the people who are celebrating this man's death ought to be absolutely ashamed of themselves. Absolutely ashamed of themselves. This kid had problems. He had significant problems. And, you know, if I were a member of his family, I would want to track back to when this radicalization began. Did it start at this very elite high school? Or did it happen when he got to Penn, when he went away to Stanford? Where did it go wrong? That would be the question I would ask.
Yeah, Tyrone. I mean, these institutions prioritize identity politics and radical activism and overcritical thinking and classical education that, to me, leads to this type of stuff. I mean, how many of us have had bad things happen to us? You know, people, unfortunately, if you have a medical condition, of course, that's tragic and can be tragic and can be life-changing. But to do this, to bridge the gap between UnitedHealthcare has told you no, then you're going to shoot the CEO. What's going on here?
Well, I think there actually was some reporting done about, and he posted on one of his social media accounts, an extensive surgery that he'd had on his back. And a lot of people have said that knew him. After that, for whatever reason, he was never the same. Be it maybe opioids came into play. I don't know. But people who knew him say that was the turning point. And he, interestingly enough, I think we can agree that he is a very, he's an intelligent person, but he has that in common with some very noteworthy criminals in U.S. history, Theodore Kaczynski being one of them. And Kaczynski was actually someone who Mangione quoted on his social media and in different writings that he had. So, you know, definitely worthy of study what happened here. But, you know, in the final analysis, he has taken a life. He murdered that man. And so he has to be, allegedly, if found guilty, he has to suffer the consequences.
Yeah. I mean, if it is a situation where we're finding that these elite institutions are radicalizing these children or these students, what do we do? Do we stop sending children to these institutions? What would be the next step?
Well, real quick, let me just say this really quick. People need to start reevaluating college. Okay. College is a scam for the most part. There are only a handful of degree paths that you can look at and say, okay, this is an investment that I can get a return from into the future. But by and large, there's the general education requirement scam where I want to be an engineer and I don't get into that degree coursework until my junior year, which is garbage. There's the book scam. Okay. You got to buy a new American history book, you know, every semester. What the hell changed, you know, in geometry or algebra, you know? So there are a whole lot of profit centers. College is the scam. People need to start reevaluating it. Elon Musk has even said, hey, you can work for one of my companies and you don't have to have a degree. As long as you can prove you can do the work.
Yeah.
The state of Maryland has done the same thing. The state of Maryland has taken away the requirement to have a degree in order to work for the state. I think, KJ, to answer your question, one of the things that I've heard kicked around at, you know, parties and whatnot is, you know, taxes. one of the ways to bring them to heel is to make them pay taxes. So a lot of these very, very elite schools live on endowments, and they don't have to pay any taxes on the money. And then they rake in more money with the students attending. You know, something about real world problems in that little bubble that they live in would definitely change. Something about having a natural predator in a lazy pool of fish make all the fish healthier, right?
Right.
So making them pay their fair share in taxes, using their own Democrat words against them there. And parents thinking about whether or not sending your kid away to incur this kind of debt, what is it that they're going to do?
Exactly.
One, to pay the debt back, and two, to improve their lives long term. The same amount of time, the same amount of effort being a plumber, an electrician, a carpenter. You know, one of my most favorite husbands is self-taught, as he likes to say. He owns the biggest company of its kind in the Western Hemisphere, right? And he started it in his mother's garage. He works hard, he reads everything and all of that kind of thing, but he is definitely a self-made man, and he surrounds himself with other people who are self-made.
Right.
He wants kids to get that you don't have to have 6 degrees in order to be successful in life. You know, I think that's something, a talk that we need to start having now with kids.
Exactly. I want to combine what both of you said to a degree. I think it's part of it, like you said, Tyrone, and it's not just it's reevaluating what college is for or what the degree path is, but I also think as families, I think there's a part where maybe parents or elders, we are living vicariously through our young people. Maybe we didn't go to whatever college or choose whatever career path. So now, you know, little Johnny or little Susie, you got to go to college because, you know, you got to carry on a tradition or whatever that may be, not realizing that maybe little Johnny or Susie, maybe college is not for them, or certainly not maybe that 4-year or Ivy League, whatever it may be. As far as taxes, I think we need to start at the financial aid system. If we got rid of that or grossly overhauled that, then many colleges would suddenly, I bet, become affordable, or they would market to the right people, if you will, that need to, or that would be able to attend and afford whatever that university is. I think it's a combination of those things. And I think, again, back to the first point, as adults, we need to, in some ways, or maybe many ways, stop living vicariously that we only have this vision of what our children or relatives should do. But maybe that's not the path that's for them. Let them choose their path. That's what adults are supposed to do. And maybe it may not be something that I may have thought or envisioned, but that's okay. It's your life.
You know, the other thing is that you throw a stone in any direction, you hit a college. There are too many colleges, okay? This used to be something that had some exclusivity about it. But in the neighborhood I grew up in, there is Community College of Baltimore City. There's Coppin, okay? You take a bus ride, you go to Morgan. There's Loyola. There are colleges coming out of the woodwork. There are too many.
But you would think having so many of them would drive the cost down. It does not. Collectively, they work on making more money. Because
they all get financial aid, and the financial aid pours in.
Yes, but you know, Shelley, I feel convicted. I feel absolutely convicted. And full disclosure, I'm one of those parents. You know, so a little personal thing about me: I lost my husband some years ago, so it's just been me and my daughter for a very long time. And she came to me and said, "You know what, Mom? I don't want an advanced degree. I want to be a flight paramedic." So Mom didn't take that well. It required some soul searching, some praying, you know, a little bit of cussing and fussing and carrying on. But when I started to kind of look at what she wanted to do with her life, not the things that I wanted her to do with her life, because when she was doing what I wanted her to do, she was wickedly unhappy. Now, I was tickled pink. I was loving life. It was a beautiful thing. She was like, "Oh, I hate this. This is horrible. I'm wasting my time." She was sounding like Tyrone. Why do I need to read, you know, Beowulf in Old English in order to do the things I want to do in life? I was like, girl, just be educated. Come on, you can do it. Dig down deep, you know. Oh, no. She came home and she was like, "Look, Mom, We're gonna have to have
a flight paramedic is a pretty good.
It's a great job. Make no mistake. But you know, I still see her very much as my little tiny girl, right? And it wasn't until I actually saw her on an EMS call, you know, jump into action, and it was absolutely blown away by who she is as a human being. You know, and I was like, well, look at my girl being all compressing somebody. Look, you better pump that chest. Go ahead, girl. Right. So I felt kind of in love with her strength in being able to come to me and say, this is my life and I want to live it on my own terms, versus, okay, I'm just going to suffer so you can get off my back, you know, once I earn this master's degree. So I felt convicted when you said that. I was like, girl, I've lived that life.
I wasn't trying to convict you.
There's still, I mean, we still have a little ways to go before we, I believe, get into that overall massive college is not needed environment. And I only say that because I think somebody even said in the comments, there is still this, well, two things. One, many places still require a college degree. Now, of course, the trades, or if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to start your own business and things like that, that's great. But that is not that doesn't fit everybody. And there's still, we still have to get to a place where, you know, these jobs, these careers are not all requiring a college degree. That's one. And then number two, in my opinion, I believe it's particularly these Ivy League schools, you know, even like the private school gambit. Many of these people are doing it for status.
That's right.
You know, it's not even about the child actually getting, you know, a good education, whether it be high school or college, or finding a college that fits your child. It's really about, oh, is this school the prestigious one? Can my, you know, son or daughter get in here? And what's this going to look like? How can I brag about this to people? You know, this is what I find it to be. And it's sad because, like this gentleman, you know, he went to a very good high school. He went to a very good prestigious college, and then they radicalize these kids. This is what they do. They teach them nonsense. And so something needs to be done about this critical race theory, this DEI, this woke education. I mean, it really upsets me. It really upsets me, and something needs to be done about it.